Hi, this is James from Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to look at a really cool combat two-player game. This is going to be Varia, and it's published by Guild House Games. Each game session takes about 30 minutes to play, and you're going to play these super asymmetric decks. Now, there is a deck building component to the game that you can go through and make your own deck, but we're not really going to go over this. We're going to go over the pre-set up deck, and this is going to come in a box set, I believe, Season 2 for the Varia box set, and this is going to have all the major factions in it. And we're going to go ahead, let's go ahead down to the table here and let's take a look at the game. I'm going to show you how it plays, and then we'll come back and I'll give you my final thoughts. Alright, so we're going to take a look at the game Varia. This is actually the Varia box. If you get the second edition printing, it's going to come with basically 7 different heroes that you can play at, like the Boreal Ranger, Fourth Blade, Psychic Fencer, Phoenix Spellsword, Deathblood Sorcerer, and Moonlit Cleric. And basically what these decks are going to come with, they're going to come with 30 different action cards. They're going to come with these item and weapon cards. Basically, they're going to tell by the money amount down the bottom. Whenever you play the game, you can only have $30 worth. These come with set up with 30 gold. You're going to get the character card, and it tells you a little bit of how the character plays on it and a little backstory. And you'll get a turn structural card, which will tell you how to take your turns. You will get, in most of the decks, some tokens. They'll be denoted by this little token that you can use for different, little symbol down the bottom that you can use for different things. And then you'll get these cards here that you can cut that are basically for your stack as it goes over in the game. Now, in the game of Varia, what you're going to be doing is you're going to try to reduce your opponent down to 0 health. Both players start with 30 health. And what you're going to do is you're going to start by drawing 6 cards to start the game. Oh, I drew too many cards. And what you're going to do in the game is you're going to create these moments. So if you're the attacker, you're going to have 10 action points, and the action points are up here and to spend, and you're going to set down as many as you want to set up, basically channels or moments. And the attacker sets how many moments there can be. If I put these 3 down here, there can only be 3 moments, so the other player can only put down 3 moments worth of cards. And what's going to end up happening is they're going to have different costs and stuff. Like this one here is going to cost 3 action points and 2 health to play. It'll have different abilities down the bottom, but in essence what ends up happening is you're going to have your damage and your focus. What you need to do is you're going to have this number right here, and you're going to roll either a 4-sided die or a 6-sided die. So for the focus, you roll a 4-sided die. When you roll the die, you add the value rolled with this, and you're trying to beat the opponent's focus so that you will hit. And then you're going to roll the 6-sided die to see how much damage you do. So you'll take that number and add it to this number. Your opponent will do the same to see how much they block. Now, I'm not going to go over every other rule in the game. I'm just going to go over the gist of how to play the game. So when you collect these moments, your opponent is also going to create, be able to respond and place cards down. Now, this is not, I'm not doing this in any way of sort of strategy. I'm just setting down cards to show you. After you do that, then you, as the aggressor, you can pick fast actions. See how it says fast on here, to either combo with or replace cards there. If I replace a card there, it'll go into my forgotten pile. So it'll be a forgotten pile and a discard pile. If I combo with them, they'll be comboed. And this isn't really a combo card, but let's say it is. Basically what ends up happening is these are added up and the abilities are added together, and it's treated as one card. So you can get a pretty powerful attack. After you do your fast actions, your opponent gets the chance to do fast actions to respond, and you keep going until everyone's ready to do the combat portion. The combat portion, you want to resolve left to right, and as you're going, you're paying these action costs. You don't pay them when you first put them down. If you run out of action points, then basically these cards that don't have enough action points get queued up for the next round, and you can use it for that. So what you're going to goal is if you roll a focus and you actually do a hit, and then you do some damage, and let's say I rolled a 6 and I had +3, and they rolled a 2 and they had 2, I would take this number, so 6 plus 3, 9, and they would take their 2 plus 2, 4, and subtract them, and I would do 5 damage to them. And then they would subtract it from the life total. And you're going to keep on doing this and taking your turns. Like I said, there's a nice turn until someone gets down to 0 health. One of the cool things about this game, and I really like about it, is you draw, instead of at the end of your turn, you draw at the start of your turn. So basically at the start of your turn, you're going to draw 2 cards, regain any spent action points, so you just go back to your 10 action points. You're going to do your movement, and then your actions and your reactions and fast actions and fast reactions, and like I said, then the resolution. So again, big thing strategy in this game is remember that the aggressor actually sets out how many moments are going to be in the game, and the defender can only go up to those moments that the aggressor set. Once the turn passes, the other person becomes the aggressor, and like I said, so on and so forth until someone gets down to 0 health, and the person that knocked them down wins. And that is a really, really quick overview of how to play Varia. There's a little bit of nuancy stuff. There's a lot of keywords in this game, a lot of cool different effects that happen. You really need to sit down, take a look at your character, and then, so you're going to really want to read this character bio to get an idea of how your character plays, and then look through all the cards and see how it works. Another thing I just want to mention real quick before we go up to the table is these item cards. These item cards are really cool because you always have them, unless they get damaged from an effect or whatnot. Then they have to be repaired, but they can come out. And typically when you're done, these cards are going to be cleared and go to your discard, but these items will actually just return back to you. So you always have them available, like I said, unless they get damaged, for use throughout the game. Oops. So, like I said, this is just a quick overview of the game. Let's go ahead back up to the table here, and I'll give you my final thoughts on Varia. Okay, so Varia is an awesome 2-player card combat game. If you're looking for a card combat game, I would highly recommend checking this out. If you're looking for a fun 2-player game to play with your friends or your family, I would also highly recommend checking this game out. There is a lot of variability to the game, and there's a lot in replayability, especially in mastering the deck you've chosen. I would highly recommend that if you go through each of these decks, if you pick one, open it up, read the summary card about the deck, go through and read all the cards, and then play a game there just to learn how the deck plays. Mastering each of those decks is going to take time, and is very rewarding when you can pull off all these little cool things that each of the decks are designed to be able to do. I like how you can do combos, and I like the sneaky tricks that you can do with the lane style time element that you have in the game, and what you can do with like holding off cards to the next round, how you can deal with your opponent's items that they have, all sorts of really cool strategies that you can employ in Varia. So like I said, if you're looking for a fun 2-player game to play with friends or family, or you're especially in the market for a 2-player card combat game, I would highly recommend checking out Varia. Thank you for watching.